Prosperity thinking is a specific way of viewing and processing and approaching life that requires skill and deliberate, consistent application of spiritual and mental laws until it's second nature to you. Well, hello again, prosperity seeker. Welcome to another episode of the Prosperity Approach. And here's the thing, the difference between positive thinking and prosperity thinking, those are two very, very different things. And positive thinking is a lot better than negative thinking, but positive thinking doesn't have a whole lot of energy behind it or the power to be able to change your life. Prosperity thinking, on the other hand, does. And prosperity thinking is a specific way of viewing and processing and approaching life that requires skill and deliberate, consistent application of spiritual and mental laws until it's second nature to you. It's a very deliberate way of viewing, processing, and approaching life. And it requires a different set of mental skills, spiritual skills, or even like life skills for sure. And that's what we are going to be talking about today is our 9 different skills and 9 different ways that you can activate prosperity in your life so that you can have more and more of the good life before waiting for the good life to come to you. First thing to do is start smiling. Like with your teeth, let your teeth show. Do you know that when you smile, it activates and stimulates neural pathways in your brain and it sends a calming message to your nervous system? Holy cow, you guys, we are so uptight and so wound up these days. And I understand why. I'm living on this planet too. But really, like smiling sends a calming message to your nervous system, pops you out of sympathetic nervous system and into parasympathetic nervous system, which is where we want to be. It also relaxes your facial muscles. So you're not clenching your jaw so much or, like that crease in between your eyebrows. Like, it relaxes your facial muscles. So just try it with me for a second. Just smile. Doesn't matter where you're at. Smile. Show your teeth. If you need to grimace and pretend that you're holding like a pen or a pencil in between your teeth, do that. You can do that as well. And usually when I smile, I'll take a deep breath too, which is super cool because that also oxygenates your body. And heaven knows we're not taking deep enough breaths these days. So definitely do that. And smiling also releases chemicals like serotonin and endorphins. And both of those are those feel-good chemicals that help us feel better. All right. So that's one way that you can activate prosperity is by smiling. Start smiling more. Number 2, laughing and giggling. Oh my gosh, this is such a great core workout. If you will actually do belly laughs, it works your muscles. That also releases endorphins, makes you feel a whole lot better. In fact, the Mayo Clinic did some research on it, and laughing actually stimulates your heart, your lungs, and your muscles. It increases your oxygen intake, and I've already said how important it is that we start taking deeper breaths, and then of course releases those endorphins. And it increases that and just floods your brain with endorphins. It can also improve your immune system and lower your blood pressure. So laughing, just start laughing more and don't laugh to keep from weeping. Well, okay, if you need to, then do that. But really there's so many ways that we can laugh and so many things at our fingertips now with our smartphones that will just make us feel lighter, stop feeling so, hopeless. Sometimes we can feel that way about, society right now and circumstances right now. But just start laughing. Find those things that just really tickle your fancy and start laughing. All right, number 3. And actually number 3 should be number 1 because number 1 is the most powerful thing that you can do to activate prosperity in your life. And that's actually gratitude. Oh, gratitude. Gratitude tells yourself, it tells God, it tells the universe, and it tells others that what you already have is enough. And Wayne Dyer says that it is very, very easy to pull to yourself more of what you already have enough of. So gratitude, instead of saying, man, I'm thankful for this money, sure wish we had more. It's like, oh, I am so grateful that I can pay most of our bills this month. Oh, I would love to receive more. Do you see how that's different? Just that it's that acknowledgement and appreciation that absolutely activates universal laws. It activates prosperity and brings you the good life before that anything physically changes in your circumstances. Oh, gratitude. Number one, really, it should have been top of the list, but get into gratitude all day long and like feel it. That will, so powerful. All right. Fourth thing you can do, playfulness, have fun. Isn't that interesting? I mean, we live in this world that is just constant go and constant do and work, and we can play as soon as the work's done, but the work is never, ever done. But you can be playful as you're working and have fun as you're working. And that actually activates prosperity because that's more things that you want to receive. So that activates universal laws and that activates you in seeing other ways that you can be playful and other ways that you can approach things in prosperous ways and through prosperity thinking. So I love those companies like Pixar used to have, and they might still have it, but they would have like people would work in decorated caves. Like they would like bling out these little caves for them to work in. Wooden huts. They would work in some wooden huts. Google would also they would have like those big exercise balls. They'd have like ping pong tables. I think at the Apple company, they would have ping pong tables that people could just play ping pong. Googleplex is famous for its beach volleyball courts and massive dinosaur skeleton with pink flamingos on it, to help you get creative, to help their employees get creative. So I don't know if that's still the case, but several years ago, that's the way that it was there at the Google headquarters. And so find more ways that you can be playful during your day, that you can have fun during your day. That will activate prosperity and bring more prosperity to you. Number 5, prayer and meditation. Oh, such powerful ways to activate prosperity in your life because here's the thing. If you want to have more prosperous experiences and you want to have the good life, you got to be present for it. You know, like, have you ever been like at church or something and you're not really paying attention and the speaker says something funny and everybody's laughing and they're like, wait, what did I miss? And you weren't present. And so you missed it. So in order to activate the good life, you've got to be present for it. You've got to be present in the moment. And I'll go back just a second. Playfulness and fun only happen when you are present in the moment. That's when you're experiencing that playfulness and fun. Well, prayer and meditation actually get you in the right space for you to be present in the moment. I've heard people call it white space before. And white space is critical. It's critical for you. That's the space that you use to create prosperity in, is that white space. And when you are in prayer, you are connecting with God. You're connecting with your higher power. You are, and hopefully when you're praying or you're meditating, you're starting in gratitude so that you can align with all of the goodness that's already in your life and then acknowledge God as the source of all of your blessings and all of the things that you have to be grateful for, and because He really is the source of all the good in your life. But when you will pray, you activate heaven's powers. When you meditate, you know that the only reason we meditate is so that we can put ourselves into a position to receive. And so meditation literally opens us up to receive inspiration and guidance. You've heard a lot of people talk about downloads. That's where like those downloads can happen when you've deliberately created that space for you to get that guidance and inspiration and those downloads. But it does require that we slow down when we get present in the moment. We get out of our head, we get into our body, and that really, really activates the good life. It really activates prosperity. Number 6, reading something spiritual. Read something that just fills your soul. Now, that might be scripture. That might be a biography by somebody that you really admire, Gandhi or Mother Teresa or any of the popes or any of those leaders of different organizations, Russell M. Nelson or any of the 12 apostles. Like, read books about them. My goodness, how about you read about Jesus? Read the New Testament, read the Bible. There's so much written about Jesus. Read books that uplift your soul and that feed your soul. And especially when you read books that are like this, when you read scriptures, when you read others like spiritual texts, and you read it with intention, like you have a question and you look for the answer, more often than not, you get the answer that you're looking for. And so sometimes I do what I like to call the pick and roll, where I'll think of a question and or how I want to feel or something. And then I'll like pick up my scriptures and then I'll just like flip them open and I'll roll to a page and then I'll just start at the left and then I'll just start reading until I find my answer. And many times it's not the answer that I hate to say that it's not the answer I'm looking for, but it's an answer that surprises me because many times it's comfort, it's assurance that everything is okay. And other times, like it really is the answer. Sometimes it's, a little bit of chastisement, but it's always done in a really, really loving way. But wow, when you're intentional about finding answers from scriptural and spiritual texts, God is so anxious to talk to you. He is so anxious to bless your life more than you are even then to receive it. And so put yourself in a position where he can talk to you and he can answer you and he can show you those different things through inspired writings that he has done through other people on the planet. Another way to activate prosperity and experience the good life is being with those you love. But let's really be with them. Let's be present with them. When you're all in the same room together, but you're all on your phones, I like to tell that to my kids. I'm like, when the family's doing that, I'm like, oh, look, we're alone together. Wonderful. We're alone together again. Let's talk. Let's visit. Let's do something. Let's share something. And so being with those you love. Do you know what's totally fun is if you get one of those little card decks and it just came to me right now, but I think it's called Moments, and you can just go on to the Amazon and check it out. But there are like all these different cards that are like conversation starters that are a ton of fun. If you've ever played the game Would You Rather, that's also a really fun conversation starter because the questions they ask are like so silly and ridiculous. Like, would you rather wear your grandma's hairstyle or have her first name and why? And so like it's just really fun. But do that with the people that you love and be around the people that you love, but really be there and be present. All right, number 8, humility and being humble. Oh my gosh, we totally do not understand the power of humility. And humility is being teachable. It's being coachable and approaching everything as a student. And wow, the whole world just opens up to you when you will approach life and approach all of the different things that are going on that are intense. And some of them are heartbreaking and some of them are gut-wrenching and others are just so amazing and wonderful and awe-inspiring. But if you'll approach all of it from the position of a student, life will get magical and rich and prosperous to you really, really quickly. I had a friend told me once that she believes in learning something from every experience, whether it's easy or rough. And I really love that attitude. Let's learn from every experience, whether it's an easy one or a rough one, because there's always something to learn. Now, I have to tell you what the definition of being humble and humility is in gospel topics. So to be humble is to gratefully recognize my dependence on the Lord, to understand that I have constant need for his support. So being humble is not beating yourself up and saying that you're worthless and you're useless and you'll never amount to anything. That's not humility or being humble at all. It's knowing that you have dependence on the Lord. You have a dependence on God, on your higher power. Here is another definition of humility. Humility is an acknowledgement that my talents and abilities are gifts from God. It is not a sign of weakness, timidity, or fear. It is an indication that I know where my true strength lies. I can be both humble and fearless. I can be both humble and courageous. That goes right back to like reading scriptures to connect with God, prayer and meditation to connect with God. That opens you up, that activates prosperity and connects you with the good life. And humility, knowing that all of your gifts, your talents, your abilities, all of those things are gifts from God. And we have total reliance on him and the Lord for our support and our growth and our safety and our happiness and all of those things. And wow, I can't imagine being in any better hands than in God's hands or the Lord's hands. Can you? I really, really can't. That's a really great place to be. And that's where humility will put you, is right there in the palm of God's hand, where he can cradle you and he can love you and comfort you and guide you and direct you and correct you when you need to be. Oh, it's glorious. It's glorious. All right, last one today. Number 9. The 9th thing that you can do to activate prosperity and connect yourself to the good life is be kind. Kindness. Kindness in every situation, kindness no matter what. It puts you into the right position to receive wonderful things. Now, kindness is different from niceness. Nice is no boundaries. Kind has boundaries, but kind is also compassionate. Kind is direct. Kind is really seeing people instead of seeing through people, and acknowledging people's efforts, even if they don't match your own. That I heard it said, I think in church one time. I don't remember where it was, but and if I remembered who it was, I would definitely give credit for it. But they had said something like, if you'll treat every person you meet as if they are going through the hardest battle in their life, you will be right 3 times out of 4. Isn't that amazing? We could all use more kindness. We can all use more civility. And these things, though simple, are very, very profound in their literal ability to activate prosperity in your life, to activate your own prosperity thinking, to change your approach, to change your views, to change the way that you process what is going on in your life, so that life is no longer happening to you, it is happening for you, regardless of what it looks like in your bank account, regardless of what it looks like in your own government or in your own family or in your health. Though this is the building blocks to changing all of that around. That's how powerful you are. And that is the magic and the majesty of prosperity thinking and the good life. So, my friend, remember, what you think about, you become. And prosperity can absolutely become you. And that's what I hope for you, is that prosperity becomes you. We'll see you next time.